Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Planning Advisory Board meeting, January 16th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Board Member Tony DeLeonardo.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Secretary Byrne, please call the roll.
Chairman Stanko,
Here?
Member DeLeonardo,
Here.
Member Tribune is absent, Member Warner.
Here.
Member Castellane.
Here.
Member Byrne is present. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay. The format for the meeting this evening includes a presentation from the applicant, questions and comments that the board members may have, and then any interested parties may address the board regarding the application. And we ask that anyone who wishes to speak to state their name and address and for the record and to also speak from the podium. We have one agenda item this evening. 260 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York 11791. The applicant is seeking a site plan approval from the Planning Advisory Board meeting in accordance with the town's site design standards. This site plan application involves the construction of a 40.7-foot by 42.5-foot addition to an existing motor vehicle dealership with associated site improvements. The proposed use for the subject property is a permitted use pursuant to Chapter 246, Table 5.2 of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay. Secretary Byrne, is there any correspondence on this application?
Yes, Chairman. We have a memo from the Zoning Division dated July 22nd, 2024, stating that the subject property located at 260 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York 11791, has a Nassau County Land Tax Map designation of Section 15, Block H, 237, 265, and 242, and is located within the NB Neighborhood Business Zoning District as well as the R17 Residential Zoning District on the town zoning maps. We have a memo from the Department of Environmental Resources dated November 19th, 2024, classifying this project as Type 2 for the purposes of seeker. We have a memo from the Code Enforcement Bureau dated July 23rd, 2024, stating there are no open court cases for the subject property. Chairman, since the memo is several months old, the Planning Division contacted the Code Enforcement Bureau this week, and there are currently no open code violations. We have memos from the town's Department of Public Works Highway Division dated July 24th, 2024, and Engineering Division dated October 18th, 2024, stating they have reviewed the site plans and have no objections. We have a memo from the New York State Department of Transportation dated December 24th, 2024, stating they have no objections to the proposed site plans. We have a memo from the Planning Division dated December 18th, 2024, stating the required parking for the subject property is 145 parking spaces and 286 have been provided. We have a memo from the Planning Division dated December 18th, 2024, stating that the division has conducted a review in accordance with Chapter 246, Section 6, Site Plan Review of the Code of the Town of Oyster Bay, and is referring the site plan to the Planning Advisory Board for appropriate action. And we have the affidavit of sign posting and the affidavit of mailing from the applicant.
Okay, thank you. And with that,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Doug Castellano from North Coast Civil, 39 West Main Street, Oyster Bay, New York. I will just start. I have a quick little handout. So that packet is just a kind of color copies of the same plans that you have and then some aerial overlays. I'll walk you through it. So the scope of the project before you tonight is a proposed one-story addition to an existing Nissan and Infiniti dealership. The purpose of the addition is really just to put the Infiniti on one side of the building and then have Nissan on the other side. So page 1 of that packet is just the title sheet, property address, and then project location. The second page is an aerial overlay of the existing site.
you're going to be referring to this one, or it doesn't matter?
Yes, to
Yeah,
that
okay,
packet. Yes,
okay.
that is,
All
the-
right.
no, I'm going through that first, and then
Okay.
I'll get you to the plans. So, the second page in that is just an aerial overlay. It shows that there was a sushi restaurant that was next door. That's recently been demolished. It's now, I think they just kind of use it as parking for the time being. The third sheet
So
is.
can I just want
Go
to,
ahead.
is that part of this whole design, that building?
So that building's been demolished. So the sushi restaurant is no longer
So you're
there.
counting all of this for your project?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
all
just
right.
wanted to show that
Okay.
it was technically another site next door that was,
Right, okay.
you know,
You acquired this site.
they acquired. Yes, they
I think it
acquired.
was an old Bigelow's or something originally.
I don't
That's
know the.
Probably before your time.
Probably, yeah. But it was a sushi restaurant, been demolished, so now it's asphalt parking.
Okay.
The next sheet shows where the addition's going. In green, you just see kind of a boxed out area. It's a 1,700 square foot addition on the westerly side of that building. Then the next one is a topographic survey dated June 27th, 2024, that shows the existing conditions of the site, obviously showing the building was demolished. And then the next sheet is really a zoomed-in alignment plan. There's obviously full copies that were submitted to the town, but I think that's kind of nice to see the one half of the site, just a close-up of it. I'll walk you through that now. So it's a 1,720 square foot addition on the westerly side of the building. We're adding an addition of 42 parking stalls that's kind of wrapped around that side of the site with some perimeter curbing, two-way traffic all the way around. We're going to maintain the two existing curb cuts on Jericho Turnpike. So there's one larger curb cut that's essentially like, it's more central to the site. Then the one that's more westerly, which was for that old restaurant, is also to be maintained. We do also have a letter of no objection from the New York State DOT. There is a review that is ongoing with them. They may have some like minor comments to, sometimes they want you to replace the aprons and the cracked sidewalks and things like that. So we're waiting on a response from the DOT. We'll address those comments when they come up. And then the bulk of the site, basically the whole eastern half and the rear of the site is really not changing. There's a large landscape area in the back of the site that's being maintained. We're not touching any of that. All they're doing is they're just restriping some of the lots. Some of the stalls have faded over time, so we were asked to restripe some of the parking areas so that they conform with the new Town of Oyster Bay requirements. And then the last 2 pages of that packet are the colored elevations and floor plans. The ones that were submitted were black and white, so I think it's nice to see. The color gives you kind of the idea of what the building's gonna look like and the height and things like that. And then just quickly to wrap up, some of the other site items that maybe aren't more aesthetic but are important is the grading and drainage. We're adding all new drainage facilities for that proposed addition in that new parking area. So no runoff will flow to adjacent properties or the roadway. There's also a number of existing dry wells that we located throughout the site. Those are to be maintained. They're on the easterly half, which is, again, what we're not really touching. Utilities, again, all utilities are being maintained. That's sewer, water, gas, electric. Those will all be kept the same. In terms of landscaping and lighting, we're adding some smaller plantings in the front. I think an additional shade tree along the front of the property, which this is really just on the westerly side, which was that restaurant. It's a little barren right now, so we're going to be filling in some of that area. And then lighting, there's only, it's really just 2 light poles, but it's 4 fixtures, just to light the area that doesn't have any light poles now, which was that restaurant. The rest of the site has adequate lighting, which met prior town codes. So we submitted our plans to the Town of Oyster Bay DER, as Mr. Burns stated, and they had no objections to the plans that are before you tonight. We do have some variances that we are facing, so we will have to go to the zoning board after planning. They're really just for the landscape islands that some of the site is deficient in. That's most of the existing site. Then some of the parking setbacks, and then landscape buffers. There also is an encroachment which was existing into the R17. There's a split. There's a zoning line that splits the site right here. So it encroaches into the R17 district. That's also, I think you're allowed 50 feet, and we're at 59.3, I believe.
Are you encroaching further onto this application than you
No.
previously were?
It's remaining the exact same. We're not encroaching any further, but these are variances that we will have to seek. I just wanted to, bring the board up to speed. So, if there's any questions on the application, I have a member from the dealership, and then Bill Brown, who's our architect couldn't be here tonight. It's a very basic, addition, so I can answer any basic questions, or if he can, if there's any operational questions, again, we have a rep from Legend, so that'll conclude my presentation.
And the westerly curb cut you talked about,
Mm-hmm.
is that the way that it exists now?
So the curbing there's almost two sides to it. So the curbing that's on the far westerly side does approach it straight, and then the one over here, the curb exists kind of on an angle. I think actually the DOT did mention that to me on the phone, that they wanted us to reconfigure that so you don't come out on an angle.
Yeah.
It's a safety issue.
I don't see how the state even looked at that, because,
They did, they looked at it right away. That was one of the one things.
If it was one way in, it would
Okay.
work. Yeah, but
It was-
if it was one way in, it would work, but leaving,
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I would think you would want one way in there and not,
That's something we could definitely look at. I think it
Yeah.
was an existing two-way, but again, the way the curbs
the
are laid out
angle-
is
yeah,
weird.
The angle is,
Yeah.
The angle is horrible. I mean, it makes
Yeah.
people want to shoot right out across,
Yeah,
Jericho Turnpike.
understood.
And I mean, to make a right turn, I mean, you're gonna have to get a big
Cross over,
swing to
yeah.
come out and go around. So, I mean, I definitely think that
We'll take a look
you
at
should
that.
address that concern. I mean, that's
Okay.
definitely something that.
I think the trailers are coming in that way on the left and exiting on the right.
Yeah, well, you showed that the garbage truck comes in through there, so I assume because the loading space is over on the east side of the building, that the car carriers bringing new cars would come in there also.
Right,
Get
right.
on the side.
That's correct.
I noticed on the plan that in the area that you're designating for parking, there were several poles that you're removing. They were freestanding light poles?
Are you talking about in the back of the site?
Yeah.
No, so the lighting back here is being kept the same. If you saw that note, then we'll have to fix that, the lighting in the back of the site.
Yeah,
They're just adding new light to where the restaurant.
The only lighting we're proposing is around the addition.
okay.
Everything else is to
Everything
remain the
else
same.
is-
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have the Whoa.
Lighting plan is C6, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I saw it on one of the plans, that,
If it does mention any light poles to be removed on that side, that may be a typo, but the lighting plan shows them to be maintained, so that is our intent.
maybe I mean, I see existing light poles, but I thought that I saw it to be removed. Yeah, all right, I guess maybe I visualized something that wasn't there. Okay.
No worries.
Your dumpster enclosure that's staying the same?
Yep, so it's already got the masonry walls, it's very well screened back there, so the intent is to keep that the way it is, yeah.
Can you just highlight the plantings
Sure.
abutting any residences or?
Yeah,
Start with
so
them.
actually, that's one of the variances we're seeking is, so back vinyl fence if need be. And then
How tall is that?
I think it's a 6 foot.
6 foot,
I think
okay.
it's a 6 foot.
Okay.
And then the other variance is for the westerly side. That's along the Midas building. That's, I think, vacant right now. They also own that property, so he wasn't sure if at one point he was going to maybe create access to that side, so that's why he didn't want to landscape that side yet. And then the rest of the site, again, is just really being maintained. There's some smaller plantings in the front, and then one additional shade tree.
Okay.
But it's all low stuff because it's along the road.
And then this back area around,
Yeah, so the back area back here is very heavily wooded. You can see all the.
so that's all,
Being maintained, yep, it's, yeah.
and then, can you highlight interior where the parking lot is, what you're planning for the landscape islands?
Well, one of our variances is for landscape islands.
And where will you have an idea, or where you're gonna put it?
What do you mean?
Were you gonna put a landscape island, or you don't want any?
I don't think we're gonna install a landscape island.
Oh.
We're gonna go for the variance so that we don't, 'cause we
Okay.
don't meet that requirement.
Okay, all
A
right.
lot of it also is, when you have rows of parking, I think there's a percentage that you also have to meet. When you have rows of parking, at the end of them, there's supposed to be a certain width, I forget the number of
Right,
the
yeah.
landscape. So we don't have those now, and we're
Because
gonna,
we usually like to see
right,
landscape islands.
we're gonna,
I'm
yeah.
just telling you.
I know, yeah, I understand.
Is there any particular reason that to the south of the addition that you chose not to landscape between the residents? Because it is a requirement, and it's not that long of a stretch there.
I think initially we had submitted one plan with landscape, and then the owner decided that he didn't want to install landscaping in that area. He didn't think it was necessary due to the fence.
Okay.
So that's something he wanted to take up with the zoning board. So I think that's our intent, is to try and do that.
Okay.
If
We'll
that
see if any
fails, we'll have
residents-
to,
Do you have any room for plantings there?
there is, there's a 6-foot buffer, so there is, we could.
So why don't we, why don't you put some in there?
I mean, I'd like to see it wrap around wherever, right around the corner where the dumpsters are, and have landscaping there until it hits where you've got the,
Correct.
there and then down.
Correct.
Across the southerly property line you pointed to, and then down to where it hits the existing landscaping area out there.
Yeah, just to
Okay.
cover the residential,
Right.
because
I mean,
you
it's a
plant,
requirement of our ordinance,
I
and,
think, I think we'll be
and
well.
we're always very strict on that.
Where are you talking about?
We'll be willing to plant evergreen screening in that, along the,
Yeah.
just so I'll.
Just point it, yeah,
So
there you go,
so back
Tony.
here, along these residences, going up, has I think this is the transformer here,
Mhm.
and then a little bit onto this side, but again, that's the Midas side, so we don't wanna close that off, but.
Yeah, but I'm also concerned
This is
with
the minus side.
where the
if you're go-
dumpster
If
is.
you're going across the
There are-
southerly
there's already
boundary, then
evergreens
go
back
down the
there.
westerly
Okay.
property line.
So behind the.
So it'll be an L,
Yeah, that,
right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That already has
Yeah.
dense, tall, like 30-foot evergreen trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just update the plan to reflect that then,
Okay.
so then we see it.
Yeah.
So
Got
when we
it.
do our final
You have the
inspection,
fence, but
it's all there.
we don't
Yeah.
have the plantings.
Okay, understood. We'll show those on the plan, and if there is any bare areas, we'll make sure we fill them
Yeah,
in.
supplement, yeah.
Okay, understood.
Because the arborvitae's grow even a little taller than the 6 feet, and sometimes it provides from a second floor a little more coverage.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, they're on the photo, some
Right.
of those plants, but they're not
Yeah,
on.
we'll add them to the plan.
Okay.
Add them to the plan.
Do you have lighting on the building at all?
There may be some existing, some existing lights, fixtures mounted on the existing half,
Existing?
but nothing on the proposed. It's only those 2 light poles separate.
Okay. And you're putting a sign? You having a sign, or?
That's correct. That's actually a separate application. So we haven't quite worked out exactly what type of sign they want to do, but it's going to be in the same spot as the existing pylon sign that's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and then you have some signage on the new addition.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Shows it on there.
So you currently use a dumpster pickup at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Do you know
James?
the hours that the trash company comes in to pick up the dumpsters?
You don't happen to know when they...
It depends, sometimes 7 AM, between 7 and 9 AM.
I'm sorry, I
So,
didn't.
the representative from Legend says that it's between 7 and 9 a.m.
Not 5 o'clock? Not 5 o'clock in the morning? Okay.
She's
All
never
right.
seen 5.
And that's in the same location it's always been in?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. James, okay? Lou? No, Tony?
Yeah. Well, here's
Anything
where-
else you want to add?
Here's where I've seen the sign.
Yeah, that's it for our presentation, so unless there's anything else.
All right. And when they do the, any drainage work or whatever, you're gonna have to move cars out of the way? Will you have, how will you handle that?
Yeah, I think when they build this whole addition, they'll have to basically clear out that
Clear
side
out
of the
that
site. So whether that's bringing the cars off-site, you know, that remains to
But
be.
you're not paving the whole area? You're doing the whole thing, or no?
No, well, they're restriping the whole easterly side
Restriping?
too, because some of the parking stalls don't meet
Right.
the requirements, and then they're mostly, I think a lot of them are faded, actually.
Okay.
So that was one of the agreements, is that they'll restripe that area. I don't know if they'll,
And they use the California? They don't have to?
Not for that.
Not for that, no, okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know, did you have it?
we show the California for the new stuff.
Yeah,
I would,
see.
I
You
would
have
think,
the- You have the detail on
Yeah.
it,
Okay,
so-
all
Yeah.
right. Okay, Scott, anything? No.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, anyone wish to speak on the application? Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are you husband and wife? Both of you come up. Both of you come up.
State name and
State
address,
your name and address.
please.
Nancy Stacharsky.
John Stacharsky, 52 Locust Lane. We're right behind
Can you
the current...
Do us a favor, point out, maybe you could point out on the plan where you are?
Right there.
Okay, you're down by that circle, by the,
Yeah, we're right in the circle. We're right behind Midas Marlowe, actually, our house. And I guess we have a concern regarding the structure. Currently now, building, I think it's a 40-foot building, is very intrusive. You know, looking from the backyard of my house forward in front of Jericho. I also have concern about the lighting, that it will not shine in my backyard.
Well, previously with the restaurant, they had a light shining down into the parking lot, but at first, they had shining directly into our bedroom. They did redirect it, but, you know, we did have that issue.
All right, let's stop there. Let's handle the lighting.
Yeah, so, all the lighting I'm proposing is directed straight at the ground. It's not, that's as
Is
per
it,
their code.
is it at the front of the building?
So no, it's, well, the front facing you,
The
you
front,
mean?
well,
It's-
yeah, the
It's
front-
off the westerly side, so everything's facing to the ground. We also did prepare a photometric plan, which was submitted as I can just flip
yeah,
real quick.
I would like to understand where the lighting is, because obviously in the backyard, we would like it to hold the residential area, not commercial.
Right, so, one of the things that the town makes us do is, ensure that, there's no light spillage, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So we do a photometric design, and by the time it gets back here for these plantings, it's at 0. So all the lights, there's one fixture here and one fixture here.
So this is in the back?
It is in the back, yeah.
Okay.
There's a code where they have to, you know, for security reasons, have to light maximum 20 feet, they're pointed straight at the ground, and there's no light spillage.
Because one concern that I have now, living where, living in the house that I am and looking upon Nissan, it is very bright, that the lights that they have, and it looks very commercial, and it really takes away from our neighborhood. And it's really hard to live in, currently I've been living in my neighborhood over 50 years, and to have it become commercialized is disheartening. And then also regarding, another concern is the back
The
of
buffer zone.
the buffer zone between our property and Nissan currently now. Right now, the fence has been up for over 50 years. It's falling apart. They've been trying to maintain it, but it's pitiful. Also, about 50 years ago, evergreen trees were planted there. Currently now, if you look at them today, all the branches are gone. They were supposed to eliminate noise. Well, there's more noise coming through ever because they're so old.
Well,
I
that's
would-
one of the things, Lou, you mentioned that, right, that buffer area.
So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
just to quickly address those two concerns, I think one of the applicant, as I stated early in the presentation, he'd be willing to replace that fence. So he will replace the fence, and then we'll add another row of fresh evergreen trees. And one of the things that's nice about Oyster Bay is they make you put irrigation anytime you put plants, so they won't die. They'll just grow over time, so.
Well, another concern is about the existing.
Okay, you okay with those two so far? We helped with the
Well,
lights?
I'm okay with, well, I'm not okay with it at all, but I mean, I
We're
think
trying to-
we have to
go
work
ahead.
together.
We're trying to help you out.
But,
Go ahead.
one of the things is the existing trees. There's trees in the lot, all their leaves are falling down into my property, and I'm maintaining all the leftover of
Well, that-
leaves.
I'm
And,
more concerned where the upkeep of that area, where you have weed vines that wrap around the trees and then over a period of time choke the life out of the trees.
You're right.
right.
We've
and-
actually had that where some of the trees would die because of these vines.
Okay,
And-
what,
and-
Your house has the one with the pool, you said?
Yes.
Pool,
So you technically don't even touch the property that was.
you don't touch the
Well,
property at all.
that's a Midas Parts shop.
Well, that's now owned
I
by
mean,
Nissan.
Nissan parts shop
Yeah,
now.
but
It's got nothing to do with this.
Within the yellow lines.
Yeah, but it's throughout the whole area hasn't been maintained for years. There's poison ivy growing through our fences because a lack of maintenance over the years. So as we're building up here, I think it's an opportunity to improve that area,
well,
the-
we can
the-
only talk about up to that line tonight.
up to that line.
That's where we
Okay.
are.
Line.
Yeah,
If the next group comes back for something, we can look at that then. But right now, that, we're trying to
All right.
fill that
Okay.
in for you,
And-
Okay.
okay?
Then
So we
all
got
the
your
oth-
new fence.
okay.
Well, we have a new fence, and I guess my question is, will they be putting it across the whole property line?
Up to Midas Muffler.
Oh, you mean go up to Midas Muffler?
Well,
Not
right,
past it.
because
Big-
right now, I mean, I guess I could show you, like,
We're only gonna replace what's along this application.
Oh.
I think
oh,
that's the
okay.
one that's-
Well, then I guess at least you
We
should do
just
that.
thought it said Nissan Parts Department, that's why we thought it was the same owner.
It is the same owner.
It's
Yeah.
not part of this application, though, so.
It's
Okay.
not part of this
All right.
Yeah.
project.
Then the only other concern, if I could add, is are there gonna be any late-night deliveries?
No, I don't think they're allowed to do any late night deliveries.
Well, currently now we are seeing late
that
deliveries
was with,
occurring at 10:30 at night. I
That
see
was
it
with
once a
other
week.
property.
Can I just speak for a second?
Yeah.
The only time you'll see a late night.
Oh, would you come up,
Sorry.
come up and state your name and
Hi.
address?
Marissa Mahmood, I'm the general manager over at the Legend
Okay.
Nissan Infinity. So the only time you'll ever see a delivery is if, God forbid, a vehicle is broken down or a transporter may have gotten lost or had bad weather, and they literally will drop off, leave key, lock up, and go. It's not like an incurring thing where it happens every night. Once in a while, you'll have an issue.
Don't they normally drop off on Jericho Turnpike?
They go inside. They don't drop off on Jericho. They'll go into the lot.
I seen a
and the-
tractor trailer there today.
Okay.
I was there today.
Depending on if it's deliveries or an emergency, like later in the day. But I'm addressing late night deliveries. Late night deliveries are only occurring if there's an emergency, if a transport is lost, or if someone needs immediate attention.
Driver's
that-
lost.
yeah.
So what time do they usually come?
They're there before 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock latest. We don't accept deliveries on weekends either. We don't do Saturdays either for drop-offs.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Well, just to add to that point, ooh, you okay? Just to add to that point, lately I've been seeing late-night activity in the area. At 10:30 at night, the truck sits there for about an hour at a time. I'm concerned about being a neighbor that I'm trying to keep it residential, and here we're having some type of activity. And I'm not too sure why, so I thought it'd be a good forum to bring it up. I know it's not part of the building, but this is what's happening.
Well, Scott,
Heather,
anything you can add on?
I think you're getting a good, I don't wanna say a good deal, but, there was a restaurant there before, and it's always been a restaurant. And, restaurants can be any time. I mean, a car dealership is gonna close at a reasonable time, 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. Not even? You're shaking your head?
Don't make me work late.
Huh?
So don't make me work late. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, especially on our Infinity side. So
Okay.
it's 9 to
I
7
mean,
operation.
and then everything is gonna be dark, other than for the security lighting. I mean, I think it's a win-win situation for, for you and the other neighbors that are right behind that whole property, I understand where you're coming from, but, you're just not gonna have that in and out until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, or whatever it is, with a restaurant.
Well, to add to that point, I agree with you in some respect that, they're keeping the property clean and, which is positive. But before, when Midas Muffler was there, they were requested that the business shut down at 5 o'clock, and they weren't open on Sundays. So it was less traffic going, that I would see from my backyard back and forth.
Yeah, but now you're talking about Midas Muffler, which is
Right,
the
but
and it's not
it
the
is so
subject-
close.
It's
I
not
mean,
the subject of this application.
but you're talking about a business that is conducting business in that area, and the area is not really that large. I mean, really, the distance between the restaurant and the other Midas Muffler are walking steps. So we see all the activity because the fence is broken, the trees are old, and they don't have any leaves and branches anymore. They're like big holes and gaps.
Well, your good
You
point
know.
about the cutting, the vines are gonna get cut, right? Clear that out. Give them a fence, some new plantings, and what's 6 foot, Lou?
6 foot.
6 foot, no, I mean, plantings,
Oh, well, they have to start at 6 feet.
they have to start at 6 feet, and they'll be irrigated, as you said. Right, right.
And then I'm also concerned about the placement of the cars in the parking lot that are closer to the residential. Quite a few years back, there was a fire in Nissan. And car fires. And I'm just concerned about, obviously with the LA fires, and the parking spots and where they're placing the cars. I want to make sure that there's adequate, enough buffer.
Well, it's gonna be lined,
Yeah.
so they're gonna park orderly.
That's correct. So there's actually a almost 7-foot buffer between the parking lot and the rear, and that's now gonna be fully landscaped with a new fence, so.
Okay, all right.
I mean, the parking for the cars that are for sale are basically gonna be on the original site, on the old site.
Mhm.
And, in that, parking area, and I don't see how,
Well, I guess my one question is that currently now, what I see from my backyard is that there's cars all over the parking lot, even including in the Midas Muffler section. I know it's not part of the plan that we're discussing, but that's what's happening in reality.
It's that overflow part.
It's an overflow flow of parking that's being done, and that's where my concern is that my concern obviously is the building, You took care of the questions, but there's also other activity just plainly going on here. I don't see any parking spots for underneath the Midas Muffler side, but there's certainly a whole overflow of cars there. And that's where the concern lies, is that all that I'm not gonna reiterate it, the fence, the trees, the lack of privacy, the noise. So,
So you're gonna have it striped? You're gonna keep the cars orderly, so that there's access and you have drive aisles throughout?
Did you guys purchase the Midas property?
I think they did, so I do think they own it. I don't know what the story is there, though. Again, I'm not part of that application, just in here. The site that is in question is gonna be fully self-contained. There's perimeter parking all the way around. We're closing off this side. It's not like you could just drive cars over, and I guess essentially call it an overflow.
Oh,
What they
so
do with
that's,
that
you're gonna close that off?
There's a new curb going along the Midas side, so the parking lots won't be connected.
Oh, okay, so there won't be a lot of back and forth?
No.
Okay.
would the owner be willing to extend the fence across the whole side?
To Midas
Just
Muffler.
what's
To
in the
Midas
yellow
Muffler?
lines.
Well,
I don't think at this time, it's not part of the application.
you got enough.
We're willing to replace the fence that's along this property.
Yeah.
And limit it to that for now.
But then I
Something
also have
happens.
to deal with a 40-foot building now.
Just to clarify, the building is 27 feet existing, and then the new addition is 5 feet less than that, it's only 22.
Oh, only 22, my
only
mistake. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Okay. Well, thank you for listening, I appreciate it.
thank you for your list. Okay, they were very legitimate questions, and I know well, I don't know, but Nissan wants to be a good neighbor, correct?
Right, that's
Not only to you, but
correct.
to the other
Yeah,
buffered areas. Okay,
okay.
all right. Anyone else wish to speak on the application?
I just have one question, I'm sorry, I didn't want to just run up, but when is the plan to go ahead to have this building constructed? Is there a date defined yet?
We still have to go through zoning and then the building department, so that can take a couple months. It's the cold season now anyway. I wouldn't imagine anything starts until the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There being none, I'll entertain a motion on the application with any restrictions or,
I'll make a motion that
Covenants?
we approve the plan as submitted with the amendment to the westerly ingress and egress.
Okay.
I would myself, I would kind of rather see it just as an ingress.
Okay.
But, that's up to you guys.
Okay.
Well,
Also,
do you think you want to put it in?
I just want them to straighten it out.
To reconfigure it so that
Okay.
it
To
should be,
reconfigure
yes,
it,
Okay.
whether it's
Understood.
one or two ways,
All right.
understood.
and I mean, if it's, if it's two ways, that's fine. It's not gonna get that much use anyway. And then landscaping on the southerly and the westerly portions, as we discussed,
Understood.
of the new project, and the old project behind the dumpster area. And then, replacing of any fencing
Mhm.
that is deteriorated or,
Okay.
replacing all the fencing.
Right.
Whatever's necessary.
Understood. Okay.
And any dead tree removal, or are there any dead back there? or-
To clean up
Clean up,
before we
Yes,
plant.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
general maintenance.
All right.
on the
Okay.
site.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Second? Go ahead.
Okay, voting on the motion by Member Warner, seconded by Member Di Leonardo. Chairman Stanko.
Aye?
Member Di Leonardo.
Aye.
Member Warner.
All right.
Member Castellane.
Aye.
Member Byrne. Aye. Chairman, the motion passes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Shut your lights
Motion.
off.
Second?
Second.